Now that we've established Y, which is going to be the ratings count, popularity in this case, we can use this to sort of help us decide, okay, what are we going to use as X, our input? Now, if we look at the data in general, there are different types of pieces to it. So if we look at the top, okay, these IDs, there are a lot of IDs, not interesting, not helpful. Book count for sure. But look at these ISBNs are also like IDs. We don't want that. We definitely want the authors, right? Certain authors are more popular than others. We'll use the publication year. Even if we're looking at new books, I don't know. This could potentially be used to predict, like, hey, maybe we should feature certain books because data shows that they should have been more popular from a certain year. This one could go either way. I'm just going to use it. I would say if ever in doubt, use the column. But if you have a good reason not to, by all means, exclude it. The title is another like ID thing. We could even use the title as like the index. The language, I think the language could certainly play a role, right? Different languages here. And again, I like the ratings. These other counts I don't want to use because these are like other popularities. These other ratings I also don't want to use because they sort of play a role with the rating itself, but they're based on popularity, like how many people gave it. Not worried about any URLs. Tag names could be used. That could be a little tricky. And this currently reading and to read count would also be a popularity indicator. So I'm mainly looking at to predict the ratings count, some of these columns before, and then I'm going to delete some of them. So there are different ways to establish X. Okay, so what am I looking at starting with for X? Okay, I don't want these IDs, but I do want the authors. So I'm going to start with the authors, and we can continue to narrow down X and go all the way up to the average rating. Okay, so X equals df.lock. Okay, we're starting with the by name, all the rows, comma, I think was it author? I think it's actually authors plural. You can always go back up and look, authors. And I want to go all the way up to and include the average rating. I don't think I want anything after that. Okay, so average rating, usually like it would be written like that, but again, you can check it, average underscore rating, so that looks good. And I can always add, if I decide later, like, oh, I really want to do the tag names, which I actually may, I can certainly add that later, okay? So I'm just doing this to pick. It's nice sometimes if you can pick like a range from one to the other to start to narrow it down, okay? And so now I can look at the head to see what I've got here. And you can see this is much more manageable. Not that making it more manageable is the goal here, but it's easier to sort of dissect. And we want the authors, I want the publication year. I don't want the title. I'm sorry, I don't want two title columns. I actually want to make that the index. And then again, we'll consider if we're going to add this other column. Okay, and we can try the index as follows. And so this is X now. X is our new data frame, so x.index. And we want it to equal, this column, x dot. One of these had null values and one of them didn't. And this is also where looking at the null values can be helpful, because if you look at the original title does not have, it's got some null values, but let's just use the title. We don't need the original title, okay? So we'll go with title here. And let's see if that worked. And you can see that it does. So now we have, these are indexed by title. Index is not part of your your inputs to the model. It's just a labeling, which is nice here because when it's all said and done, you want to know like what the books are. And so now we can get rid of both of these titles, okay? And so, I just like doing it like this. Delete original title. Okay, and we're go ahead and delete X title. So we're deleting those from X. And now if I look at my X head, I have a lot of progress here. Okay. So that those are like quite a few steps where we have a more manageable X, and we'll take a couple more steps to get it just right.